it's Don here from the board. Thank you for checking out another one of our videos. Now, I thought I'd take the opportunity to actually record a video while my little one is being put to bed, and here we go. So I'm actually really excited today about this video, and the reason why I'm really excited about this video is because while it's not quite an exclusive review, from what I've been told, it's probably the first time that this item that I'm looking at today is being reviewed and going to be on YouTube for Australia. There's quite a bit of competition out there, obviously, with a lot of people reviewing the same products, and because we're quite a small group, we're relatively unknown, we don't have a lot of subscribers, it's really hard to be able to get hold of items that we don't pay or buy or have donated to us, because the big brands or even some of the smaller brands already have deals with well-known, well-established, high viewer, high subscriber people out there already on YouTube. And so, of course, what I'm talking about today is the Plugable mechanical keyboard. So the other day I did release a video which was the Plugable USB microscope, and in that same package Josh hooked me up with this guy. So it's a 10 keyless 87 key mechanical keyboard made by Plugable, and I had a quick look on YouTube, and there are a couple of videos that already do review it, but as far as I can tell, I don't think any of them Australian. So first for Australia. Fantastic, fantastic. Now I'm excited because this is actually the newest keyboard that I have come across. All of my keyboards are now actually relatively old, I guess, in terms of factory builds, not self-build, custom build like the Ergodox. And the last keyboard that I actually bought brand new was my NovaTouch, which I can't really review or do much comparisons against because it's been very heavily modded. So I'm very excited to be able to check this guy out. Now, I have not opened this box, so anything that I'm saying right now is completely first impressions about this. Here we go. So let's have a quick look first of all on Plugable's website, so we know kind of like what we're looking at, what they're claiming and what they're saying, and then we can get into checking out the package and the contents. So let me switch over to the monitor view. So there it is on Plugable. It is currently retailing for $44.95 US, and it is a 10 keyless 87 key layout. It comes with blue cherry style switches by Gout, or more commonly known as the Outemus. What are we looking at? 60 plus or minus 15 grams of actuation force with a 4 plus or minus 2 mil keystroke travel, full NKRO, anti-ghosting, it's white LED with a breathing mode, double shot ABS, and it's an integrated cable rear mounted. So it's fully compatible, and we've got F1 to F12 keys. Alright, so, and there is Josh, who hooked me up with that keyboard, looking pretty schmick. And just a little bit of a blurb and description talking about mechanical keyboards, because obviously not everybody is as familiar as mechanical keyboards on mechanical keyboards as the community generally is. And if you are, I guess, looking through Plugable's range of items, USB devices, and you come across this, then it would certainly help bring you up to speed and explain what is going on. Okay, so let's just get that away. Where's my mouse? There we go. Alright, so here's the box. It's a sort of standard box, Plugable all over the sides, Plugable on this other side, Plugable on the other side, and there you go, Plugable on. I think it's got Plugable. Actually, the only place that does not have the Plugable logo is on the back, but it is, of course, you know, you can get hold of Plugable there. So there's all the basic details, just like the website said. It's going to come with the keyboard, a puller tool, as well as the quick start guide. It's nice recyclable packaging, which is always good to know. And yeah, so blue clicky switches. Now the first thing that I notice about this, just from the picture, I'm just going to angle it so it's not so shiny, is what is going on with this? There is a WASD over where the arrow keys are, and then you've got arrow keys on the WASD. Well, okay, something a little bit different. I have not really seen that before. It does look sort of very floating keys, which I don't mind at all, but I know that some other people out there certainly do not like that particular style. So let's have a crack at it. Here we go, here we go. And there it is. There's our quick start guide. It's a couple of pages, nice and simple. So we've got some multimedia key functions, which is nice because I actually haven't had a keyboard for ages that's had built-in multimedia keys. Simple details installation, you just plug it in and away it goes. Some, let's have a look. Do we have our lighting mode changes? So we've got keyboard functions, we can change. Okay, so you can use function and W to convert the WASD to arrows, and then you can it converts the arrow keys to the WASD. There you go. So that explains why they've got those two modes, and I guess that would be useful if you're playing games or something like that and you want to be able to have your mouse in your hand in a much sort of tighter position, because then you can just use arrow keys and then your mouse there without having it being further spread apart. Or at least maybe that's part of the philosophy behind that particular design. Backlighting, function and scroll lock, adjustment, function plus and it's minus and equals, which is the plus sign anyway. Normally, function home to change breathing, and then the breathing frequency as well. So we can disable Windows and context keys using function win, which is pretty nifty, and a thank you on the back. Alright, here we have a puller. It's a standard plastic ring puller. Now, it's nice to include the puller because obviously, you know, people like to be able to actually take their keycaps off if they change them. But of course, most enthusiasts are quite hesitant to use the ring type puller simply because if you don't apply the right pressure and it doesn't clip on properly, maybe if the caps are a little bit tight, they do have a chance of slippage and then scratching. So you just have to be a little bit careful. Wire pullers are obviously a little bit better than that, but they do cost more, obviously, and you know, it's nice to have a puller included, even if it is a ring style. There's the cable; it's integrated, and that's loud. It's loud clicky, which I have been told that the Outemus are actually probably the loudest in their category for blues. It's got some nice, I think, EVA foam or whatever that is. Nice and spongy. It's well packaged. Doesn't seem like it's had any detriment from traveling to Australia. And there's the other side. And let's take off this. And here we go. Alright, box out of the way. Wow, there we go. Look at that. Not going to plug that in yet. Okay. It's a good compact size. Now I've got my Philco Magis Touch 2 right in front of me, and you can see by comparison the actual footprint of it is to be expected. It is a 10 keyless. It does have a very small sort of bevel case around the outside. It's not super noticeable, but it is smaller than what is around on my Magis Touch. And the top of it, you can notice that it's got a little bit of a distance there, but it's not too bad at all. It's not really the smallest, I guess, case bevel. You probably could actually make that a little bit shorter if you really wanted to. And as I was saying, it is a floating key style. But I suspect that's also because it will give it a little bit better in terms of response for the backlit modes. So it's got a good amount of weight to it. I actually don't have my scales with me right now because I completely forgot. But that's okay. It's got a good amount of weight to it. I don't think it's super heavy, but that's a steel plate on top. I can push on that really firmly, and it's just not doing anything. And if I try and flex it, there's a little bit of flex, but it's definitely resisting much twisting at all. So that's where that weight's coming from. If we flip over the back, we can see it's very clean, nothing fancy. We've got flip out feet. It's just one mode, one height, and you got rubber on the bottoms there as well. And as said, it's a integrated cable. Would be nice if it was detachable, but what can I say? At this price bracket, that's no complaints at all. With the feet out, let's give it a bit of a bump. You can see how the actual camera on my table is wobbling because of the force I'm applying, and it's not really shifting terribly anywhere. So very happy with that. And the angle with it up, it's quite comfortable. Quite comfortable. Now, where do we move from here? Initial impressions. Simple, clean design. The font, though, does leave a little bit to be desired. I guess you can kind of say it's a bit like a gaming font. It's that sort of almost military style stencil where they've got the lettering attached at some point to the outer part, so when they spray it, the middle doesn't fall off and stuff like that. Caps lock with a LK instead of either a full caps lock written out. You got the Win key symbol, but you've also got the lock because you can do the function lock if you want to lock up the keys. It's nice having the media keys with that all displayed there as well. And they've actually got up and downs in regards to the lighting mode, brightness, or breathing speed, which is pretty cool. And as I've already mentioned before, there's your WASD with the arrow keys, and then your arrow keys with WASD. All right. Actually, while we're here, let's check out what kind of stabilizers it uses. I'm just going to get my puller. Okay, so there's my my Y puller, and let's pop off a shift key. If it'll get underneath. It's very clicky. Oh, there we go. And we've got cherry style stabilizers. So that's pretty cool. I am personally a fan of the cherry style rather than the co-stars. Each to each own. And while we're at it, we can have a look at the double shot. So there's your clear layer, and then there's the black layer which they've etched through it or shot in that particular pattern to let the light through. So it's fairly standard, nothing too special about it. They're not super thick, but they're thick enough to resist a bit of force on that, and well, it's ABS. What can I say? You're going to get a bit of flex on that. And we can see the clear housing on the Outemu switches. Now this particular keyboard and this version of the Outemu is still the standard housing, because I believe some versions now have that circular housing, which for the purposes of some artisan keycaps will not work because they've got the square MX stems, or the TMX style stems as well. So you just need to be aware of that if you were looking at potentially getting this keyboard and fitting artisans on it. Alright, so let's get this back on. Alright, now will this work plugged into my USB extension? If it doesn't, I'm going to have to find a spare port and let's check it out. Well, hey, alright, it's lit and we should be almost good to go. Okay, I'm just going to turn off the room light so we can actually check out how bright that is in darkness. Okay, so you can see it's actually got a good amount of brightness right there. It's not so overwhelmingly bright that I'm actually blinded by it. The majority of the light that you're actually seeing on my face right now is coming off my screen, obviously, and Some of that is reflecting, of course, down onto the keyboard, but I'm just going to see if I can get the box, and then we can just block off some of that that's coming from the screen, maybe. Alright, is that... yeah, okay, so the screen's getting blocked there, and you can see sort of how much light it is actually generating by itself, for most part. Okay. Probably wasn't super prepared for that, but that's okay. Let's try and have a look at this quick reference again for the brightness. So the brightness is just going to be function minus and equals sign. So function, let's go, seems like that's the maximum. And there we go. So it's completely off. And if we start off at the off mode and we step it up, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now it seems like there's a couple of steps before we get to maximum. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, maybe 6, 5, 6, something like that. Doesn't actually say. Does not actually say. But that's okay. Now let's check out changing the mode. So we go function and home. So function and home. Now on the home key there's actually a little B over here. And that means breathing mode. So there is the breathing mode pulsing. And we can change that speed of the frequency by using our same up and down. So I'm assuming this is the fastest mode. Yep. Let's slow it down. It does seem a little bit slower. Doesn't seem to be significantly slower in regards to its breathing speed, but it's breathing. I don't know, maybe it's a, I won't quite say it's a heavy breather, it's maybe just a fast breather. If we speed it up, it is noticeable. You can definitely notice that the actual speed that it's breathing at is faster. Okay, so let's turn off the breathing mode, and then for it to be completely off, it was scroll lock. So function scroll lock, and bam, there you go. Function scroll lock, and it's back on. Okay, now let's do some actual testing of the typing function. So I'm just going to open up a notepad and drag that over to my other screen, and then we can share that monitor right there on top and check it out. Alright, now, so that was just very simple. And of course, our sentence works. Let us change the actual the YSAD. So how do we change the YSAD again? To swap YSAD and arrow keys, press function W. There we go. Now, I'm not sure if we're going to be able to see this very well on the camera. No, that's not going to work very well, but you're just going to have to take my word for it that I'm going to be doing this correctly, and I'm just going to switch it over from function YSAD. So you'll see the W appeared, but now I'm actually using the WASD, and it is actually well, what I'll do is I'll pick up my front facing, and we can try and position it so you can see the actual coordination of that movement is in tune with the left right. But then now if I angle it so you can see the arrow keys over here, right? Now we're actually giving YSAD. So that's actually it's actually pretty cool. And then of course if I use the function W again, now it's just input another W up there, and now it's back to my YSAD, and we're over to the arrows. So I think that's actually really nifty. I haven't come across any other keyboards that do that. That's inbuilt. And I think the fact that they've actually taken that initiative to offer something slightly different is actually pretty cool. Let's turn off the monitor for the moment. Where's my mouse cursor going? There. Turn off that. And what I was talking about earlier is, why would you want to swap this over? Maybe it's because if you like to have very close gaming, then you could actually play like this. And your hands are much closer together than having it spread out like that. First person shooter, I don't know, maybe you have some layouts here or something like that, macros, and you can set up and you can just use this rather than having your hands spread out. I don't know. It's personally not something that I would anticipate that I would use, that I would need to use, but the fact that it is an option is better than no option. So, and it does, of course, do something that a lot of other keyboards do not natively offer. I'm going to turn the light back on simply because I'm not a huge fan of sitting in the dark. Probably doesn't help my my skin complexion show up on the video very well either. Now let's do a bit of a sound test as well as a type test. So just like I did with the HHKB and the Leopold, I'm going to just pop on a bit of Type Racer, and then we can check out how bad I type, as well as getting a good sound sample on this keyboard. Alright, I'm also going to turn off backlighting because I don't mind it, I'm just not a massively huge fan most of the time because I've got a room light, I don't really need backlighting, I'm not like a hardcore gamer, but... Alright, let's drop the mic a little bit lower down. I'm certainly not going to physically drop my microphone because I like my microphone. It's quite a nice microphone. So nice and close, we can get a good sound sample there. Let us switch on the monitor and we can have a bit of a practice type. Here we go. Okay, so 81, not too bad. I was getting around, I think, 88 on one of the two keyboards at least, when I wasn't stuffing up with the backspace and getting that completely wrong and dropping down to 60 odd, I think, from memory. 96% accuracy. Oh, it's acceptable. I normally type anywhere between 80, 90 words per minute. In terms of the feel, alphas, it's fine. I think the stabilized spacebar is a little bit stiff, but that's because it's new. I'm anticipating that with a bit more use, it will actually loosen up. It is not, I think, by default lubed or anything like that, so it is a little bit stiffer in terms of action. And also, it does feel a little bit funny to me because I flip my spacebars. So I haven't flipped this spacebar yet. I don't anticipate that's going to make my typing speed any faster, to be honest. The feel of the keycaps, I have stock ABS right in front of me on the Magus Touch. This is double shot ABS. It shouldn't feel that much different, but it does, and I suspect it's because it's brand new. So because it's new, it has a slightly different sort of surface texture. It doesn't have shine, whereas my keyboard in front of me, my Magus Touch, is shiny, so it's a little bit smooth, a little bit slicker. I'm not saying that's a bad thing that these keyboard caps don't have shine. Yeah. So I think this is a good point where I can make some concluding remarks about this keyboard made by Plugable. Good points. It's really affordable. It's $50 and it's solid. It's got a good amount of weight to it. Let me just switch that back over. So it's got a good amount of weight to it. It has a good solid steel plate on top, no flex. I can beat on this really hard and like I'm rocking the entire table and the entire keyboard is actually moving on the rubber. So if you type hard, this will take that easy. It's loud. It's clicky loud. Now I have a friend. He's got a brother and he likes to annoy his brother with his keyboard. So this would be perfect for you if you were to ever watch this video, my friend, to bug your brother with. These blue clickies are loud. Now, compared to my... Let me just drop the microphone down again so you can hear the difference between the two. So... they're loud. They're very satisfying click. So if you like your clickies, excellent for that. What else can I say? It's clean looking. I do like the actual shape of the case and the fact that it's very close to the edge. I'm not a fan of the font on the keycaps though, because obviously it is aimed a little bit more towards sort of the gaming market, but that's okay, because if it bugged me enough, I would just change them out. And look, they even give you that keycap puller. So you should be able to just pop them on and pop them off. Voila. So yeah, now having a look at the plate, I don't think they are switch top openable. Now, yeah, it doesn't look like they're switch top openable just by my my examination there, which is, you know, you can't really expect that considering it's a $50 keyboard. And most people, when they first get in on it anyway, are not really going to be likely to do a lot of switch modding. But heck, it's a nice enough keyboard that I don't feel like I need to. But at the same time, if I did want to, let's just flip it over. You probably could take it apart. Now, it doesn't feel like there's any screw holes lurking underneath there, which means you've got 1, 2, 3, 4 screws in the back, and you should be able to get this guy open. And if you really wanted to do, you could just desolder it, replace the switches, whatever. I don't know if it's something that you could easily mod to change out that cable and put the socket so it becomes a detachable, but if you got the time, you can always check it out. And yeah, neat. Okay, so there we go. Plugable 10 keyless clicky blue Outemu switches, white LED backlit, breathing mode, standard backlit, has a range of brightness, media keys, and I think probably the coolest feature of it all, while unusual and I'm not likely to use it, is still pretty cool, is being able to swap your Y-side keys with your arrow keys, vice versa, depending on how you want to use it. So thank you very much to Plugable and Josh for setting out this unit. I really appreciate it, and now I have another keyboard here, at least in Australia, that I can get along to meetups, or if someone is really desperate to try it out, they can always get in contact with me, and we can try and arrange something for them to be able to give it a try. And yeah, if you like this video, make sure you hit that like button, make sure you share it. We would love your support. Keep growing our channel. If you haven't checked out any of our podcasts before, please do. We're always looking to bring you some great content about what's happened in the mechanical keyboard community for the week. Recently, we've had some really good support from Idea23 Bus Gamer, who's given us a couple of things that we can do as giveaways. And we're also running a giveaway for a Movember cap, limited edition, when we hit 400, 500, 600, and 700 subscribers on our YouTube channel. So, yeah, please check out the rest of the videos in this channel if you haven't before, and also you can head over to our podcast, which is hosted at www.theboardpodcast.com. So, and with that, I'm going to sign off with my usual. Until next time, happy clacking.